Welcome to today's video, guys. My name is Steven. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. I hope you're all feeling well. In this video, I'm going to cover a topic that I have been planning to do for a couple of months now. And a lot of people have actually asked me, Steve, what are your top 10 strongest, longest lasting, best performing scents out of your collection? So, for me, actually, this was a hard list to decide on, and that's basically because I have so many potent scents in my collection. It's just a requirement for me to go ahead and base my purchases on, because I live in a moderate climate. I need my fragrances to last, so I'm not going to buy fragrances that last only a couple of hours. That being said, these fragrances are absolute monsters. Wherever you live, if it's a hot, humid climate or a very Scandinavian country, you will have the best experience in terms of performance with any of these scents. I can guarantee you this much. But also something that I took into consideration, aside from longevity and performance, is the overall scent profile. How the fragrance smells is something that I also considered in this list. I wanted fragrances that have a lot of potency, so you can expect some leathers, musks, animalics, basically notes that are quite present overall. Not much florals or fruity notes or fresh aquatic notes. You won't find any of those in this list. Well, maybe a hint in a couple of fragrances, but basically just really strong scents in terms of scent as well. So let's start off with a honorable mention. I have actually two for this list, but I had to include them in the video because these two fragrances are extremely potent in terms of longevity and performance as well. The first one is Oud Satin Mood by MFK, and this fragrance is just gorgeous in terms of how it smells. This is in a very jammy, edible kind of rose with vanilla and oud. But the oud itself is less focused. It smells even a little bit like a dry amber at some points, because it's not that rough and intense in the overall composition. It's more focused towards that jammy rose and the sweet vanilla. Therefore, it's an honorable mention, but nevertheless, this is just insane in terms of performance. If I spray this on in the morning, I can still smell it in the evening going to bed, even after a shower sometimes. This is just insane. So, the next honorable mention is by Andy Tower, and this is L'air du désert marocain. A fragrance that is extremely potent in terms of longevity and projection, but the overall scent smells quite aromatic and spicy, and it's something that you can wear throughout the entire year. So this is a great recommendation if you're looking for a scent that needs to last in hot, humid climates as well as a Scandinavian country, but it's something that you want to wear throughout the year. Because of that bright, almost fresh overall experience. This has a lot of pepper, it has a lot of amber, it smells even incensey, smoky at sometimes, but like I said, very spicy. I really like this one. So yeah, that's it, guys. Those are my two honorable mentions. Let me now start out with number 10 in the actual list for today, and this is a fragrance by Xerjoff. The fragrance is called Alexandria II. It was a Fortnum and Mason exclusive until a couple of months ago, where they just released it worldwide into their general collection. So you can just find it in any store that carries Xerjoff fragrances. Yes, it has a very balanced overall scent profile. This has the notes of rosewood, lavender, green apple, musk, oud, but for me even though it's so balanced, I couldn't just leave it out of this top 10 list because it's just so insanely strong, guys. This is probably one of the top strongest scents in my entire collection. That musky animalic base just pushes through and through and through. It keeps going. But there's like I said, there's a lot of lavender, a lot of rosewood, even that gorgeous green apple note at the top makes for a very balanced, enjoyable fragrance. A scent profile that just, makes it very wearable in my opinion. Although I wouldn't really reach for this in a very hot summer day. But like I said, very, very, very strong fragrance. Something that you will enjoy a lot as well as everyone in your vicinity. At my number 9 spot from Xerjoff again, this is More Than Words. Guys, it's not because it's only at my number 9 spot that this one doesn't last. Actually, this could very well be the number 1 or 2 because it just keeps pushing. This fragrance is extremely potent. I have a friend that also wears this fragrance, and he came to my house in the late afternoon after work, and I opened the door and I said like, man, you're smelling great, what is that? And he said, well, it's More Than Words, but I haven't worn it today. I sprayed it on yesterday. That is something mind-boggling for me. First of all, a fragrance that lasts more than an entire day is just insane. Let alone think about, a scent that leaves your skin only after 24 hours or close to that. This is just a beast in terms of longevity, but it pushes through in terms of projection as well. A fruity, floral, oriental fragrance. And yes, there is oud in here, but the focus actually is on that fruity side of the composition. Gorgeous stuff at my number 9. More Than Words. Next one, this is a gorgeous fragrance by Kilian, and again it's a little bit further behind in the list because it's so cozy at first, especially at first. It gets a little bit more animalic in the dry down, but at first it's a real compliment getter, a very romantic even scent, something that I consider to be a great date night scent by the house of Kilian. This is Back to Black. So yeah, this is honey, raspberry, tobacco. Like I said, a very cozy scent, but in the dry down, the honey is quite animalic and gets quite, rugged and intense. And therefore it's one place ahead of More Than Words because of that animalic quality to it. But overall, if I would have to choose between the two in terms of performance, I would even go with More Than Words. It's just that the animalic quality is something that makes it more intense in terms of scent itself in the dry down of this fragrance. So there you have it at number 8, Back to Black. Going over to number 7, pushing further the animalics, but adding a lot of spices as well. This has a lot of clove, cinnamon, vanilla. Luckily it has a cozy vanilla, but also a lot of musk. Musc Ravageur by Frederic Malle. Guys, this scent is just one of the most iconic scents ever. It's quite daring, it's quite out there, but it's also just that gorgeous in the dry down, especially in the dry down. This scent just keeps getting better and better in the dry down. That's something that I don't have with every other fragrance out there. I really appreciate what they done in this one. I have an older bottle, but even the newer formulation still smells nice. It's not that heavy on the clove. They kind of toned that down a little bit, so it's a little less spicy and there's a little bit more of that vanilla and musk going on, but nevertheless still a great fragrance. Musc Ravageur at number 7. Going over to number 6 in this list is from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. The fragrance is called Kouros. So this is the iconic white bottle, and this is an older formulation. As you can see, this has a silver silver shoulder on the bottle. Yeah, silver sprayer as well. This is how you can actually see if your bottle is older style or not. Anyways, still with the newest formulation, this is an absolute beast. This has a lot of leather, oak moss, civet. One of the most potent fragrances ever. Like, this lasts forever, and it's pushing through as well. A lot of people will smell it on you. Well, basically everyone will smell it on you. But it's really animalic. It's bold. This is a fragrance that I couldn't see a woman wear, actually. This is alpha male stuff. So yeah, at number 6, Kouros by Yves Saint Laurent. At number 5, a fragrance by Dusita Paris. I've talked about it in a recent video. This is Oudh Infini. Again, a lot of animalics. That's a returning note in the composition of these fragrances. Yes, there is a really nice rose in the overall fragrance, and it's quite noticeable, luckily, but it only takes off the edge of the really rough animalic base. So therefore, it's a really, really strong fragrance, not only in overall scent, but also in performance. At number 5, Oudh Infini. Going over to my number 4 in this list is by the house of Christian Dior. The fragrance is called Oudh Ispahan. Guys, what more can I say about this? You've probably heard a lot about it already. If you haven't, rose and oud with labdanum. It's so good. It's one of the best fragrances that I have ever smelled. It's even a little bit smoky, but it remains fruity. Floral. So it remains floral, but the beautiful rose, that animalic labdanum, and a type of oud that will never leave your skin. This fragrance lasts for an entire day. It's one of my most favorite scents of all time, actually. It's only at my number 4 spot because of that floral quality of the rose. You know, the next few scents will be more aggressive, even in terms of scent profile. Yeah, beautiful stuff. At number 4, Oudh Ispahan. At number 3, the infamous Black Afgano by Nasomatto, guys. This stuff is just insane in terms of longevity as well as projection. I think it even projects more than Oudh Ispahan. To my experience, it pushes and pushes and pushes, and it has a more aggressive scent profile because it has a lot of woodiness in here. Oud, there's a cannabis note, of course. A lot of people talk about the weed fragrance, and yeah, it's a quite green experience with this, but the woodiness kind of gives it a lot more dimension. It balances out that sharp cannabis note. But the projection and the longevity are insane. I sprayed this on. One time I had training. I sprayed it on in the morning. I went to work, and I came back in the afternoon, and I had to travel with a colleague, and he said, going back home in the late afternoon, man, this fragrance you're wearing today is really, really strong. It's still noticeable from 6 feet away and more. A beast of a fragrance by Nasomatto at my number 3, Black Afgano. The second fragrance in this list for strongest, boldest, most intense, aggressive scents in my collection. Something that a lot of people are still talking about. The most famous, I think, Amouage scent out there. This is Interlude, man. Apoponax, amber, oregano, oud. This smells smoky, woody, but really, really, really strong. And this fragrance is something that even for me who really likes these type of, you know, attention grabbers, performing scents, I enjoy those a lot because of, you know, the climate where I live. Yeah, even for me, this is just so hard to wear. I only wear this a couple of times a year. It's sad actually, because it's a great fragrance, but it's really, really, really strong. So at my number 2, Amouage Interlude, man. This is a fragrance, like I just did. I accidentally, you know, touched my nose. If there is some residue on the sprayer, when you touch your nose, you'll smell it the entire day. It just won't leave your skin. This is a beast. Then we've come to the last fragrance in this list, guys. This scent is something else, really. It's a very bold, aggressive scent. It's something that is ruthless. Like, really, it's really hard to wear. I've only worn this a couple of times in the 3 or 4 years that I've owned it. By Mona di Orio, this one is Cuir. Yes, it has a lot of leather, but it's also really animalic. It smells smoky and incensey at some points as well. I think about like a bonfire, like a barbecue or something. Really smoky, really heavy, really thick. There's some spices in there. I've read there's a cardamom. I don't really pick that one up, but that's just so smoky and so leathery. A fragrance that makes such a bold statement. For me, really hard to wear, but if you're looking for something really, really, you know, long-lasting, bold, in your face, this is probably, out of the entire list, the best choice in that regard. There you go, guys. That concludes this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a little thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. That's fine as well. I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions about this scent, shoot me a message down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.